What up, fellow myositis people? Here to talk about exercises and things that I do that I've learned from my therapist over the past couple years of dealing with this disease to try and keep my muscles in shape and out of the flare. Obviously these are harder to do when you're in flare, but you need to do them as much as possible, or I try to do them as much as possible in order to keep my muscles from atrophying as much. So the first one is squats, and I'll kind of show it from this angle inside. So you can do it a couple ways, whether you grab onto something in front of you and then squat down like that, or as you gain more strength in your legs, doing it in front of a chair where you kind of squat like that. And I just got done doing exercises, so I'm actually a little fatigued, but that's one of them you can do. That's about physically as far as I can go down without feeling like my legs are not going to have the strength to push me back up. If you feel that way, you kind of see those bars behind me. That's where I started. I used to do these exercises in front of those, and so I could grab on to the counter there, or the shelf with the bars, and have my arms give me assistance in helping push up or pull up if I felt like my legs were too weak. So on the squats, I'll typically do 2 sets of 10. Do as many as you can. And try to do 2 to 3 sets. But again, it's whatever your body will permit you to do with this disease. So, okay, so marches is the next one. With the marches, you want to pull your leg and your knee up as high as you can, and then the amount of time that you allow your knee to lower down is really a lot of what that exercise is. Controlling that descent works your muscle a lot more than you would think it would. So, it's one thing to be able to get your knee up, but then being able to control that downward motion against gravity, it will really work that muscle. So squats are the second one. The next one is kind of like kicks out to the side, or it's almost like a snow angel standing up. I'll show you what those look like. So for these guys, I like to use a wall, like a door frame or something like that I can stand in front of to kind of stabilize myself and help me with the kicks out to the side. So this is kind of what these things look like. So I'll kind of do that for each leg, 2 sets. Try and shoot for 10 on each leg. Would be 20 total, 1 set, and then I'll do that again. So for your arm exercises, a lot of it's going to depend on what your range of motion is for your arms. When I first had my last flare, my range of motion was very limited to where basically I was unable to lift my arms about above this point. That was about as far as it could go. So reaching out in front of me was not really a possibility, or even reaching above me was not a possibility. We started with exercises to try and improve this range of motion. And I can kind of describe what those were. I don't have the mechanisms, but it was like a ring arc, where you think of a ring about that big, and it's on an arc or a piece of tubing that's shaped kind of like that. And so then I would literally just freehand like I would do. I would take that ring and pull it up over. When I started, I would be able to get it to about right here, and then I'd need help with an assistant who would, or a therapist who would then help me pull that over the rest of the way. And as I got further, we increased the size of the ring, or the arc, to where it's harder and harder, to where eventually that range of motion started to come back and these muscles started to kick back in. We were doing that for each side. So once you have more of the range of motion there, then these exercises I'm going to show you now are kind of what you could do. So one of them is just three angles for your arms, where you lift them up and you hold them for about 3 seconds and then you let them back down. This is kind of parallel or 90 degrees out. Then you do that same thing at a 45. Let them back down, and then I'm going to move out. Do the same thing kind of at 0 and 180 degrees out, like that. You want to do, again, about 10 sets, or not 10 sets, but 10 reps, and that would be 1 set, and then try and do that 2 or 3 times. The other one would be punches. So to where you have kind of, again, you can go straight out, straight to the side, and then if you can, straight above you. And then as those get harder, you can incorporate, hand weights. Like this is a 2-pound weight. So, 2 pound, yeah. So then you can take this and push it out. Now, if you're having to compensate to get that out, then the weight's too much. You don't want to start there. But once you can get it and maintain good form, then you can use that to increase the weight and help you build up muscle back even more. I'm going to try and show you some of the exercises you could try and do in the bed. That's where I started out. I was not bedridden, but I couldn't sit up out of the bed, so I had to use hospital lift bed. I had to raise it all the way up off the ground in order to be able to get up out of the bed. So I know how that feeling is and where that is, but there's still some things you can try and do in bed. So we're going to look at those and see if we can discuss what some of those would be. Heel slide is one of the exercises we can do. So starting with your feet down like this and then sliding that up and then back down. Do that about 10 times for each foot. Bridges is another one you can do. So that's when you put both legs up like this and you're trying to activate your core, tighten that area, and then also push up. It may not feel like you can do that a lot, but just tightening the muscle is working it, and that will improve over time. I can't get super high with these either, but doing them more, as much as you can do them, even if it's just a little bit, will help. So pushing up, holding that for 10 seconds and then letting it back down. Doing 10 reps of those and then 2 sets. Another one would be, this is a little harder. It depends on what your range of motion is in your leg if you're going to be able to perform that. A helper or a spouse or somebody might be able to help you do that more. And the other one is the kind of snow angels again. You can do these snow angels on the side. Again, they're hard for me to even do laying on my side. But that's, another exercise you can do. This is another one I wanted to talk about, getting out of bed and what that looks like for me. I still struggle with my core having enough energy to kind of get up out of bed. So a lot of times with my arms are much stronger, and I can actually grab onto my thighs, and then I use momentum to help pull me up, or actually my arms to help pull me up. So you kind of see how I make that seesaw pattern, or seesaw motion to help pull me up. So I can get under here and pull some and get up. But once I get these legs up, then I'm able to just lift up